Originally had him like this the whole way. Once I passed my laptop to Pooh, he juiced him up. He like a hi-hat guy, kinda.
Yo, today we're making some 90s Memphis beats like DJ Paul, DJ Screw, Tommy Wright the Third, those motherfuckers. Just some dark shit. Um, what you need to do for these beats is you need to go into your master and you need to just cut out the fucking high ends. All that shit is gone. You don't fucking need them in these beats, baby. They're unimportant. So once you've done that, you want to get yourself some church sounds. Doesn't matter what they are. Just some shit that you go into a church and you're in there and your grandma forced you to be there. You don't even want to be there, but you're in there, you're chilling, and like you're listening to the music and you're like, damn, this blows. So you want to lay down a pattern that kind of sounds like that. So this is what I laid down for the organ. You done that, you're gonna route it to a mixer channel, and then you're gonna fucking all you're gonna do is you're just gonna cut the low ends. You do this to everything on every single instrument ever. This shit is so simple. Mix. I don't know why people are like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to mix. Just fucking cut the low ends. It's not that hard. All right. Once you got those chords, you need to get a string of some sort or a brass. I chose a string. So I went into expand because it's like the goat for these types of sounds. And some good sounds are big soft pad, uh, big soft strings, big hard pad, big hard strings, pause. Alright, once you find the strings you like, you go into the pattern. I laid down some shit like this. And the trick is, this sounds cool and alright, this sounds fine, but what you can do is you can take it, you can copy it over, bring this up an octave. Listen to that shit, motherfucker. Alright, that's fire. Alright, once you got those fucking sounds, you need to go into purity or any fucking VST, it doesn't fucking matter. You need to find yourself a bell, basically, one that'll sound like. I'm sorry, I did not mean to do. You need to find yourself a bell that sounds like the yeet bell, basically, and then you need to lay down a pattern, some shit that's like this. I'm not gonna make you listen to the whole bell. You get the idea. You need to fucking add some suspense to that, Jonathan. At the end, fucking instead of following the bass note, follow the second note in the chord. See how that adds some suspense? Ooh, fancy. Once you got those bells, you need to get a pad. The pad I chose is out of Electra. It sounds like this. And then I laid down a pattern that literally just follows the bass notes. I'm not going to make you listen to that again. You get the idea. The last thing you need to add is a lead of some kind. For this beat, I chose a synth. You could use a pad and pitch it really high up. You could use like an actual lead, you could use a piano, you could use a bunch of different shit, but I chose a synth for this one, and this is what that sounds like. Pretty spooky. And then you just need to add a sub following the root notes, and then you should have a melody that sounds something like this. For the drums, I actually layered two separate hi-hats. The first one is this one, which I turned the out knob all the way up on to make it like really short and like clicky like that. And then I just laid down a basic pattern with that. And then if you want your beats to be authentic, don't do more than double time rolls, because the old drum machines that were used in this genre can't like do rolls anything more than like the double time rolls. So, I mean, you could do more, but like to keep it authentic, just do double time rolls like this straight out of the drum machine or the drum rack. And then on top of that, I added another hi-hat that sounds like this. It has a longer tail, and that just gives it a little bit more bounce. This is what that sounds like. Like the hi-hats with the snares, I used two separate snares. First snare I used is this one. It's like really dirty and has a long ass tail. This one's like the main snare. It just is like the normal like trap pattern that every snare has. But then I added another snare on top of it, which hits every other snare, and that sounds like this. But it also has these rolls, so this acts as like a secondary snare and a counter snare, if that makes sense. Then on top of all that for percussion, I added a kick, a bell, and an open hat. The bell sounding like this. And it's just on a 4-step, like how normal Memphis beats are. And then the open hat sounds like that, and that hits every other kick, adding more bounce. And then the kick sounds like this. And then the patterns I laid down for everything sound like this. And the drums all together sound like this. And then on the kick, I added a side chain. So you route your kick to a channel, and then you route your bass to a channel, and then you right click your bass channel, side chain to track, and then you go over here and you go into limiter, and then you go to side chain, you mess with the threshold and the ratio, you turn the threshold down to like this much and the ratio up so it looks like this, and you leave the knee alone, and then you right click this, and then you should only be one, so you should just be able to turn it up just to 1. And then the last thing you need to make this fire is a Memphis acapella. There's a lot of ways to find them. You can find them on YouTube by searching them up, like search up Memphis acapella, or you could go on Reddit and look up phonk drum kit and on r/drum kits, and they have a lot of different like drum kits that have folders and folders of them. Just make sure you don't use one that's super overused, otherwise it'll be boring. The one that I picked sounds like this.
It's that nigga MC Spade, finna make and break a bitch. Smack her all upside her head and let her know my pimpin' She gon' try to make it look as if you going out like a hoe. Never think twice about a bitch, cause when you dip it, then you know. Don't get caught up with.
And another good tip is
It's that nigga MC.
your acapella to a channel, and
If
then
that nigga,
take the
if
kick.
that nigga MC, if that nigga.
And then we're also going to do the same thing we did to the bass. Click sidechain to this track. I know you can't see that pop up, but when you right click this arrow, a pop up will come up, and right here it'll say sidechain to this track. And then you go into this, you open up a limiter, fruity limiter, and then you go over to threshold.
That nigga MC ain't finna make it break.
Turn it down to like that, and then turn the ratio down to like there. And then turn the sidechain on.
That nigga MC ain't finna make it break. Smack all.
And then for vocals, what I like to do is I like to turn it to 50%.
That nigga MC ain't finna make it break. Smack all upside her head and let her know my she gon' try.
And now, all together, this beat should sound pretty good.
Don't get caught up with no